Get ready! Hello, everybody, and welcome to Digging Richmond. And today I've got a great person waiting in the green room here for me. The history digger is Rob, and he's just one of the great storytellers and treasure hunters that is here for us to answer some of his questions, and he's going to tell us his stories about his latest finds. And without further ado, I just wanted to make sure that he was here, and I just want to say a couple of highs to the Diggers Den Tyson Furies out there, and T. Pally, and Wayne Wilton. And yeah, so welcome. And it's one of those afternoons, I think, especially when it's nice out, everybody's out doing other stuff. But without further ado, let's bring on Rob. Hello, Rob. How are you? Welcome.
Hey, Frank, my friend. Thank you, and hi, everybody. It's such an honor and pleasure to be here today.
Yeah, it's just today we've got a wonderful day here. I don't know how the weather is back in your neck of the woods, but
It's not too bad. We're forecasting rain on Saturday, but a buddy of mine has a permission lined up on Sunday and invited me, and I think we're going to hit the 50 degrees Fahrenheit here in Wisconsin. So not bad. I'll take it.
oh, that's good. That's good. I know it. I think we've got a little bit of rain coming our way too, but I'm just going to take the sun for now. But Rob, I wanted to kind of just get a few questions uh, to you before we get into your finds and stories. Is can you tell us a little about your hunting area, where you live? What is it like in your area?
Well, I live west of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, so that's kind of south central Wisconsin. And it's interesting because part of our state many years ago was covered by what was called Glacial Lake, Wisconsin. And so imagine this ginormous glacier just, covering the whole state. And so it created, as it would advance every year, right, a bunch of kettles and moraines. So the mid to northern part of our state, a lot of lakes, rolling hills and so forth, beautiful area. And we have a lot of copper culture here, ancient Indian culture. I have not been fortunate enough to find any of that. Some of my friends have, but we also, even though it's one of the later states, of course, that was added to the Union, there have been people here that have found reals
Wow.
and so forth. But I have to tell you, I'm not from here originally. I grew up in Pennsylvania, but it's just a gorgeous state. Our summers here are glorious. February, March, you need to like snow, that kind of thing, Frank. But that's a little bit about where I live here, and we just love it here.
Now, how did you get started in this hobby, Rob?
Well, my grandmother, when I was real small, owned an antique shop. She owned what was called the Richland Thrift Shop, and so I remember walking through there as a young kid, all kind of oddities and stuff, treasures, of course. That, I think, sparked my love of history. She used to give us for Christmas these beautiful red shiny apples, and she would place a silver dollar on the top of the apple and wrap it in a white cloth and everything. So that sparked my interest in history. But as far as metal detecting, I had a friend who was a detectorist, and I commented a few times, probably more than a few times, to my kids, Frank, about my interest in the hobby. And a few years ago, lo and behold, my kids surprised me with a birthday gift of my first detector, which was a bounty hunter detector. And I loved it, immediately became addicted, and realized I needed a better detector as well. Nothing wrong with bounty hunters, but as you know, there are a few others that go a little deeper.
Yeah, so I guess going back as your grandmother kind of piqued your interest in this with the antiques and that sort of stuff. So that was kind of cool to see. Now I know you've got a lot of machines, and so how many machines do you have currently?
Okay, so I have to add them up because it's a little complicated right now. So of course I have a simplex. I have the Bounty Hunter, the Simplex. I have an Equinox 800, and I have an XP ORX. Now, I was also fortunate enough recently to travel down to Mini Digstock down in North Carolina. Incredible event, just an incredible event. And over the 2 days, they had a series of raffles. And lo and behold, I won 5 of those raffles, and 2 of the things I won were metal detectors.
You're kidding.
So
Wow.
I kid you not. My
Oh,
father-in-law, okay, so just amongst us chickens here on the show here, I'm going to let you know a little secret. My father-in-law taught me, he said, if you ever, have one of those raffle tickets, you want to fold those things up like a little accordion, create as many touch points as you can. And that's, of course, what I did. The people behind me were like, come on, man, we want to buy tickets. But
yeah.
I'm folding these things up, popping them in the jars, Frank. And it worked. So anyway, I won a Simplex and an ORX, which I worked with the dealer there, traded them back in, and I'm in the process of, I applied that towards a Deus.
Oh, okay.
So that will be my next detector.
Yeah,
I've been
yeah.
very, very impressed and pleased with the ORX, but of course it's lacking some of the customization abilities and features, the XY screen, something called the horseshoe screen. So I'm really eager to get the
Yeah.
Deus. I've been told on its way.
Yeah, well, I know I've watched you with the Oryx, and you've been finding some amazing things, so definitely, I guess the DS. I see that a lot over in UK. They're using that over there quite a bit, and they're finding some amazing things. So that's a
Yeah,
cool thing. Yeah,
it's a cool machine. The Nox is my go-to course for the water, and I'm not sure if I have a feeling I'm going to be leaning towards the XP, but I wanted to devote a good couple solid months. I only got my ORX like late last year before the ground froze.
yeah, yeah,
So we'll see. But yeah, but it's the lightest machine on the market and very, very uh, compactable. You can travel with it, and of course the whole thing's wireless.
yeah, yeah.
But although they have a kit, it doesn't shine in the water. They have a kit for water detecting. The Equinox, I think, is a superior machine there, and
Better
of
for
course
that. Yeah, yeah.
it's simultaneous multi-frequency. The ORX is not. It is a multi-frequency machine, but one at a time.
Yeah. Now, Rob, what has really surprised you about this metal detecting hobby? What was your biggest surprise?
Okay, so it might not be what you think. It's this thing. I have made so many nice friends, and so many of us have so much in common. I mean, when I talk with people, it's amazing. I happen to also do genealogy research. I collected coins, baseball cards. I think there's a lot of common things that kind of attract people to metal detecting, but I've just made some great friends who I started watching on YouTube, and you correspond with these people, and then you do hunts together, Frank. For me, I mean, I really appreciate my metal detecting family, and I didn't, I didn't expect that. I did this as something I thought would be fun for me, fun for my grandchildren, my children, right? But that has been the icing on the cake, is meeting all these great people.
Yeah, I know. Just watching you with your channel and going through some of your finds. I mean, you are really a great storyteller about the history and how things kind of evolved and how you find them. You're getting in backgrounds of it, and I think that shows. And because you've got an amazing growth on your channel, so and that's all part of it is just I think your passion for the history and this sport is coming through. This hobby's coming through quite a bit.
Oh, I
So,
appreciate that. No,
uh,
thank you. I mean,
yeah,
I honestly didn't put too much thought to it, but there's a ton of channels out there with people who are located in areas, especially down in Relic Land, where they find a lot
yeah,
of other things that are interesting and stuff. And I just try to weave a little bit of history, a story, a fact in the channel. And there's other things like keep them under a few minutes. But I'll tell you, I will give you a shout out, and you guys are probably well aware of this gentleman, but I don't know if any of you have seen Brad's channel, Green Mountain
yes, yeah,
Detecting Green. Oh my
yeah.
God, talk about a phenomenal storyteller. And he, by the way, I don't know if you guys all know this, but Brad composes like his own music as well.
That I didn't
But
know. That I didn't know it. Yeah, yeah.
Oh my goodness, but his cinematography, his storytelling, I mean, I am a neophyte compared to him. So, but I'm hoping to continue, to maybe adjust the ratio just slightly, definitely show the metal detecting and involve people and stuff like that, but I really do like the history, the storytelling piece.
Yeah, yeah, and I know the research, on some of your finds you've gone through, and I've really enjoyed that. So it is pretty cool. Now, let's see what else have I got here? I got a question written down here. To date, what has your best find been to date? That
Oh my gosh. Okay, that is so hard to answer, but I have to say, I actually think it might have been something I found yesterday.
we have that. So yeah, we'll show it at the end there. Yeah,
Why don't
I've
we why don't
yeah
we put that out there as a teaser?
yeah yeah
And
yeah.
but I think it could have literally been something I found yesterday because of how unique it is. But let me maybe tell you my second favorite find.
Okay.
We were down in North Carolina in a town called New Bern, and I called the local police department just to understand what the laws were, verified I could, detect the curb strips there. And I was doing so, and this I found, I believe, with my simplex. And I pulled this plaque out of the ground, this oval plaque, which it seemed a little large to be like a belt buckle, but that's at first what I thought it was. But long story short, it was actually a plaque back in the day that they would put in the sidewalks that they would pour. Today, if you walk down the sidewalk, there'll be a stamp, that conveys who poured the sidewalk and so forth. Well, back then they were actually brass plaques, and this was one of my interesting finds because it had several names on it, the name
Yeah.
of the company, the date, the mayor at the time, who it turned out was a former general in the Confederate Army. And the company who poured the first sidewalks for this city of New Bern goes all the way back to the time of Washington. The city ended up suing the company because the quality of the mix was really poor. Anyway, why
Yeah.
I enjoyed it so much, there were two things. I was able to pull all kind of history and pull a story off of this
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it had just been discarded, and when they probably poured the next generation of sidewalks. But I have been in contact with the historical society down there that sadly was closed during COVID, but we've made arrangements. We're donating that to the historical society
Oh,
down
that's
there,
great. Yeah, great thing.
and it
Yeah.
was just because of how unique it was and the amount of history, the different names. There's a lot more I was able to pull off of it, but though I like coins and stuff, but I love the stuff with stories.
Yeah, I think that, and that's always what I noticed on the channel too is just people enjoy the stories behind the finds, to see them, so it is pretty cool. And I mean, the big difference between Canada and in the U.S., especially the East Coast, is there's so much that's available to research on the internet. Canada doesn't seem to have the capabilities of doing that. I mean, you guys down there can bring up old properties and see the property lines and what was on that property. We can't do that here in Canada for some reason. But
Yeah, and I can only imagine it's going to continue to get better. But I did one property here in my hometown, and I knew it was an old building and so forth. But I sent the family a letter introducing myself. I've done some unique things, reaching out, asking permissions that way, in addition to door knocking. Anyway, um, family agreed, and so I started to do a little bit more research about the property, and I found out from resources online that it was once what was called a tea house. A tea house, and it's only about a mile from the city, but that was on the outskirts back in
yeah,
the day. People would go there and have afternoon tea, and I actually found a bunch of old postcards online that had a picture of the exterior of the house and parts of the interior. So when I showed up, to metal detect the property, I gave these people copies of those postcards and actually put them in my video too. But yeah, that's just another example of yeah, we're a little bit blessed. I hope you guys catch up. It finds its way
yeah, yeah,
there,
it'd be
but
cool.
sometimes a little bit of research yields a lot of good
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. Now I know you do a lot of permissions, and what surprised you the most when you started to ask for permissions on properties?
People that are, and I was nervous, to ask for permissions, and it's almost like we have this mental checklist of, do I need a liability form? You know, are they going to want to keep everything and so forth? Um, I rarely have had homeowners asked to keep something. If it's something in that case, we actually found what we think was a piece of an old silver tea cart in a ring from the gift shop. And I actually offered, insisted, and the homeowner kept that. But I
Yeah.
was surprised by how many times, the homeowner's like, well, no, you keep that.
Yeah.
So how
Yeah.
gracious that they've been, and how interested they are in the history piece. So
Mm-hmm.
that kind of surprised me. And that, I guess one last thing, Frank, I would say too is how much they really appreciate the videos. They proudly share, and I've actually gotten some
Yeah.
permissions from my permissions that way.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's pretty cool. Yeah, because I think we just had a comment here from Frederick Romano. Nice touch with the postcards, Rob. So yeah, you
Oh
do.
yeah, you saw that video.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
what he's talking about, like I have a little packet. I have a video around this different approach.
yeah.
So, I have a little letter. I introduce myself as a part-time or an amateur historian. And, I start with my love of history, weave my way into metal
Yeah, yeah.
detecting and then, and I have it's a very simple request and stuff, but I will include a self-addressed stamped envelope. So sometimes I physically hand these out, but in other
Mm-hmm.
cases I drive around, especially during the time of COVID when people are a little leery, someone's knocking on their door, and I've mailed these things out. And my first time I did this, I'm going to say I sent out maybe 30 letters, and I think I got 9 responses
Yeah.
favorable.
Wow.
Another time, I think I maybe did 15, and I only got 2, but I was targeting very historic properties, and they may have been a little less inclined. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
different approach. That's all I can
Yeah.
tell you,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's easy.
Yeah, I know, and you're very gracious in sharing all your information and how you do it, with the metal detecting community, which, it's really cool. It's not everybody wants to do that, but, you know, you're open book. Here's how I do
Hey,
it, folks, and I know you've helped me, and some of the information that I've asked, and so it's really nice to see that, so.
yeah, I mean, listen, I'm paying it forward. I had people do the same with me, and like anybody wants copies of those letters, email me. But I mean, one of my things I'm trying to do this year, I thought about, I'm doing 2 things this year. One is all my YouTube channel, all my merchandise, T-shirts, sales proceeds, that's being donated to the Wounded Warrior Project,
Mm-hmm,
okay, as a
mm-hmm.
way to give back.
Yeah.
But the other thing I'm trying to do is promote this idea. Listen, if you're fortunate enough to get a permission, you know, invite a friend.
Yeah, yeah, I agree
First of
with you.
all, it's
Yeah.
it's I mean, it's so much more fun. And guess what? They've returned the favors. And anyway, those are the 2 things I'm really trying to promote in 2021. Give back, but also, this can be viewed as a solitary hobby. Nothing wrong with that. I
Mm-hmm.
enjoy sometimes being
Yeah,
out there by myself, but
yeah.
it can be one where you can develop some camaraderie too.
Mm-hmm. I know of some people that have had some pretty nice finds, and they just don't want to share where they were, when they went out, nothing, and realistically, nobody can find everything, so when you go out, you can share a place to go to. It's camaraderie, and you're finding some history. I think it's just we all should do that, but people do tend to hold the card sometimes very close to their chest and don't want to share
Well,
anything, so.
that's true, and sometimes for good reason, out of privacy, respect for the homeowner. I
Yeah,
mean, there are some stories out there where
yeah,
people will sadly infringe on other people's permissions and stuff like that. But hey, I'm erring on the side of optimism, and
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I'm with you on that. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's get on to these incredible finds that you've had for us. And this one here is the story, isn't it?
Okay, so folks, I mailed this to Frank yesterday. I said, hey, listen, if you can get this in the slideshow, put it there. I had a few hours at the end of the day, And let me say, I live on a property that used to be the location of a very old hotel that dates back to the late 1860s. And that, of course, has been demolished. We live in a newer home, but the land is old. So I've found a few unique things. I've detected the property now for a couple of years. So just went out the other day, the clouds parted, that kind of thing. And I happened to find this.
Yeah.
This is a button. It is a Civil War era button. That is the Wisconsin state seal. What you're seeing in the right column is a picture of something that's online. It's in mint
Yeah. Yeah.
condition. That little animal above the shield is a badger. We're in the Badger State. And it's from the Scoville Manufacturing Company. So lo and behold, of course, coming back from a trip down in North Carolina where I was hoping to find a Civil War button, found some cool things, but didn't find that. I found a Civil War button in my backyard.
It's
Okay.
it's such nice shape, and even the little loop is in the back. It's just, I mean, to walk out in your backyard and find this, Rob, it's just it is
Yeah, you
amazing.
guys got to let me know what you think.
Yeah.
I was watching this video of, I mean, some folks will clean these brass buttons with a little bit of ammonia and a brush, and I'm leaning towards not messing with it.
Yeah, I mean,
Just letting the patina
I
go.
like it just the way it is, with that patina on it, and because sometimes we start digging at it and picking at it, the details are corroded and they fall off, and you end up losing some of the details. So it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's just so cool to see that.
If I had a caricature of myself from the time I found that till today, it would probably be that a picture of that character Schmeagol from Lord of the Rings, where
Oh,
he was walking around saying, "My precious, I think I've emailed this to every friend I know, saying,
yeah,
oh my God, I can't believe I found this." Anyway,
yeah.
that was exciting, but because it was in my backyard, it was kind of cool.
Now, was this with the Oryx?
It was with the ORX. I was
Yeah.
not filming it.
Uh-huh.
Never did I expect to find anything, and
Yeah.
I couldn't even tell you where I found it. I pulled a couple interesting targets out. I don't know if you have it, Frank, but there was also a switch key. Is that in there?
Yeah, there might be, along with some of the other
Might
ones
be.
here. So yeah, yeah,
And so I mean, it was, I think there's also something I'm, still very much appreciating the science behind our hobby, but the soil matrix, I think at this time of the year when it's wet, just after all the frost, too, I think it was the conditions were phenomenal.
yeah, yeah,
But yeah, this was with the ORX, and
yeah.
I've been hunting a lot more. This doesn't help with my videos, but I've been hunting a lot more using my headphones. I'm going a lot slower. And listen, with the ORX, I think even with the Nox, when I use the wiggle method to
Hmm.
pinpoint a lot. I don't really use the pinpoint feature. I
Yeah,
use the
yeah,
pullback. But boy, that last second or two, when you're pulling back from the target, and whether or not that sound drops off, or that is really something that's been helping me. And anyway, she was screaming at me saying, "Hey, come find me."
yeah, yeah. No, that's a cool piece of history to in your backyard of all things.
And in my state too.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I'm
yeah,
super pumped about that.
yeah. So we've got another one here.
Okay, so this was, sometimes, you don't have the permission, you want to go detect, and I went to a local park. And this particular video that this comes from, Detecting Parks Tips and Tricks, I mean, I have a lot of views, but, people either like it or they don't, because
Yeah.
what I said in the video is, listen, this is my setup when I'm primarily coin shooting. I don't have a lot of time, and I was using my 6-inch coil on the Nox, and I had a bunch of things notched out for discrimination. Okay, and I was just primarily hunting for clad silver. And there's pluses and minuses, obviously, doing that. But at any rate, I find this thing, and imagine this with a clump of dirt around this. I had no, I could, what the heck
What
is
is it?
this
Yeah,
thing?
yeah.
And it's a pendant of the Indian god Ganesh, I believe, which is supposed to bring
Wow.
good luck finding things. So it was one of those things where I was doing image search after image, put it out on one of the Facebook groups, ID me, that kind of, and somebody said, "Oh, I know what that is."
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so, of course, fascinating story. But I don't think I'll find another one of these. It'll probably be one of a kind.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of things we do find is kind of one of a kind there. But I know, like you do have one of your videos that you show how to set up the Equinox with the notching, and the Equinox is really great on U.S. coins. It's bang
Oh,
on.
yeah.
Canada with our steel, it's really everything is very iffy, and that's why I like traveling. When we go to Maui, I love my Equinox over there along the beach because I know exactly what I'm finding when I hit those numbers. So
I have
uh,
heard that from your fellow Canucks. So and I feel your pain. Yeah,
yeah,
you can use the Equinox, like turn it on, noise cancel, ground balance, park one, and go.
yeah,
But it also has some features where, like, you can change the zones of those target ITs, the pitch. It's a very powerful machine in terms of how much you can customize it.
yeah. I know. Like for me, and when I go down the beaches here in Vancouver, I put all metal on. That's how I run it. I just run it everything all metal because that's the only
Yeah.
way we're going to find our Canadian coins. So
Oh my goodness. And
yeah.
yeah, I mean, I tell you what, I do hope someday to find I think you call it a loonie.
Looney, yeah. $1
Yeah.
coin, yeah. Or a toonie.
Yeah.
Toonie, well, that's a good one too, so.
Toonie.
But, yeah.
I've not heard that.
What
Okay.
I'll
Like,
do, Rob, is I'm going to send you a colored loony and a colored toonie for you. And we'll get a little collection going for you there, so.
all right. Thank
Okay.
you.
So, okay, I'm going to just move forward on to the next find here.
Okay, so this is also one of these unique things that I've discovered on this property, on the property. And of course, the stuff on the bottom row is our pictures from offline, but this is a razor blade case.
Wow.
And at first blush, I couldn't make out the Gillette on there. Okay, but I of course recall I'm in my late 50s, straight razors,
Mm-hmm.
and the full razor blades, of course, that some of our parents may have used and stuff. But for younger generation might not recognize this, but this held that double-edged razor
Yeah,
case,
yeah.
and it was ringing up. It must be silver plated. Must be silver plated, but I had a blast doing the research on this, and I had
Hmm.
no idea how old the I think Gillette, the best a man can get is how they phrase it, how old the Gillette company was.
Yeah. No, they've been around for a long time. And it's funny that you find this with the blade. I was at my barber about a month ago, and he knows I do some metal detecting. He said, "Oh, listen, I got this old antique," and what it was is the old blades that used to pop down on there, and you have the screw top. He says he's got a little sharpener for it. It holds the blade, and there's a wheel he kind of turns, and it's an old antique. They used to sharpen the blades with this, and I'm going, wow, I've never seen that. Because that's a cool
Well, how
thing
about this,
to.
Frank? Do you remember, or does anybody, online remember too? So often the medicine cabinets or the bathrooms would be built with a slit in them where you would deposit into this slit, and this slit would just sometimes literally go into the eaves of the wall. You would
Yeah,
deposit the used metal plates. Do you guys
blade. Yeah.
remember that?
I don't, but that's a cool thing. I guess you have to maybe some of the old homes that are being knocked down just have to check the walls to see what you're gonna find in the
Yeah, wear
centers.
gloves. Wear
Yeah,
gloves is the
yeah.
key thing.
Yeah. That's another cool thing too. And here you've got another batch of goodies.
Okay, I think this was one of the halls of finds from a Boy Scout camp that was built in the 1917s. And there
Wow.
were a couple cool things on here. Those things on the bottom on the left are scout slides, neckerchief
Oh, that's what they
slides,
are. Okay. Yeah.
yeah, various, some are wolf
Wow.
scouts, bear scouts, and so forth. The belt buckle is from the explorers. It was like a subgroup of Boy Scouts who did a lot of camping. And you won't
Hmm.
be able to make it out here, but the buttons on the right, one has the name of my hometown, the other's a Boy Scout button. But the find I was most excited about in this group here is within like the horseshoe. It's
The
actually an
round.
old compass, a
Yeah.
Boy Scout compass,
Wow.
the round item.
Yeah. That is
And of
cool.
course
Yeah.
a lot of clad. And when I go on my hunts, I try to show the trash. I want to show the clad because there's a lot of new folks getting
Yeah.
into the hobby. And if all they see are silver dimes, and they can get discouraged really
Yeah.
easily. There's a lot of hours and time and effort between the mercury dime and all this other stuff we dig.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Yeah, it's. I know. I mean, people ask me, "Oh, what did you find today?" I says, a bunch of bottle caps and hairpins. Oh, really? That's all you're looking for? I said, "Well, that's all we found so far." Oh, well, But yeah, there's a lot of trash out there. And that's cool. That with that horseshoe, that's a huge horseshoe there too.
Yeah, I found quite a few of those. One I pulled out of a site that was the a location of what was the larger portion of Pabst Farms. We all know maybe Pabst beer, but they actually had a large farm in the area, and they still have a presence here today. I found a few interesting things there, but what was also really cool about this dig was the Boy Scout camp was built on the site of what's old Indian territory, and there's a
Oh,
quite large Indian mound
okay.
that is shaped like a turtle that's very, very old. And I took my drone with me that day, and we took some aerials of not just the camp and us detecting, but of that Indian mound as well.
Wow. Yeah, that's a cool thing. Okay, move it forward here. And there's that compass. That's the compass, I
And there,
guess. Yeah.
there's the compass.
Yeah.
There's the compass, and I don't know, but it has a letter B. I'm going to infer that's Boy Scouts, but I have not been able to find a similar version of this online, and nor have I been able to open this.
Oh, okay. So you
But
haven't opened it yet? No.
no, it's I'm afraid it's a little too fragile to attempt that. But
Okay. Yeah.
that was in the weed line, and we were not the first people to detect this. So anyway, to find this, I believe I found that with my Equinox. That was a great treasure.
Yeah, that is a cool find too. And here we've got.
So this was on a permission dig. A friend invited me. One of the friends that I invited on a dig returned the favor. We were detecting an old farm, and this is my first what's called a Tootsie car. And I grew up playing with Hot Wheels and Matchboxes, but Tootsie cars were popular, I think, like in the 30s, maybe a little earlier. They're a little larger, and it was obviously has some age to it, but I could still see some of the original paint, and I can't help but imagine some young child playing with this, losing this, and probably wondering his or her whole life what the heck happened to that particular car. But I
Yeah.
was able to find the model, a picture of what it looks like in mint condition online and everything. It was a great find.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. All the old toys and things that are built way back when they built them to last. The paint is nice solid paint on there. The metal, everything is just it's meant to last. So when we find it, we find a lot of it is pretty well intact. Which is kind of a cool thing to see. So yeah, that's a great find. Let me just move forward here. And there, I guess that's the car.
That's the car.
Yeah.
And the wheels were intact on this thing. Um, Tootsie Toy is the brand name, and they were manufactured, in Chicago. They're quite collectible. There are some, survivors still. You can find some in original packaging, never opened, that kind of a thing. But this is what she looked like in her day. The middle row, I cleaned it up a bit, but the bottom row is a picture of what it looks like offline.
Wow. Yeah, that is that. I mean, it's so cool to see that. It with the paint and even the wheels. Yeah, it's just yeah. I love that. I found an old tank similar to that. It was a solid metal one, and the kids. I think it was in the 50s, about a 50s 1950s sometimes, were old homestead that I dug in, and it was kind of cool see that come up. So
I'm surprised I haven't found more like metal toy soldiers. I'm kind of hoping that maybe this year. Oh
yeah.
gosh, and I was wondering if I sent you this one because now I'm drawing a blank as to the name of this car. It begins with a G.
Oh, okay.
It's not a Tootsie toy, but again, it was. This also happened to be on a farm, but a different farm, and it just reminded me of something out of the the roaring 20s, 30s, whatever. And I don't think I sent you another picture. It cleaned up nicely. Same
Yeah,
thing,
yeah,
wheels
yeah.
intact, much smaller than the Tootsie Toy. Does anybody know what this is called? I'm trying to think. It begins with a G, but if, it's escaping me for a moment.
If they do, I'm sure they'll let us know for sure. Yeah, but it looks like almost like a hot rod, like a chopped hot rod.
Yeah,
Yeah, very cool.
yeah.
Yeah, huh? But we'll get somebody might let us know. And then now we've got a keychain. Looks
Yeah,
like.
so I'm not 100% sure of what this is. I served, I'm a former Army guy, and I really appreciate everything that our veterans have done for us. And this was in a very large park,
Hmm.
and it's not a medal. I'm pretty sure it's not a medal. I thought for a while it might have been something off of a piece of equipment, a flag, but it says USA, and it says veteran.
Veteran. Yeah.
And to find something military like that, I mean and it happened to be I like it might have been early August or late July, but it was right around our July 4th, which of course made it even more special. But that was a fun find.
Yeah. It almost looks like it could be maybe like a pewter or some sort of a kind of a cheaper metal alloy of some kind.
Oh my goodness. And it was so deep.
Yeah.
It's probably the size of a half
Yeah.
dollar.
Yeah.
But I think this thing was like, it was one of those, I'm bound and determined. I mean, I don't know what this is, but I'm going to it was like 14 inches down, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Brooklyn Treasure Hunter say this is a Korg. Is it a Korg? Now, I don't know if that's the car, but
Oh,
yeah.
say the name again. It's a
Korg, Corg.
Korg, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it. I might be wrong with the G there. I
Oh.
apologize.
Oh. Yeah.
I'm just not drawing a blank on that.
Hmm.
I know when I posted
Or
it, people right away said, "Here's what that is," and there's quite a few of them.
or Anthony was saying origama. Gama.
Gosh, no, that's not ringing a bell.
Yeah,
Gamma?
okay. Yeah. Well,
You guys might be right, but
yeah. And then here we've
um,
got
so why I shared this? This was my first ever Mercury dine, and being in Wisconsin, right? We like you all have the frozen tundra, the ground freezes, and I think this was like March or April. The ground had not yet thawed, but I was able to go to a local beach to dig, and I was really just trying to learn the detector. This was with the Equinox, and I had gone to this beach. I assure you, not a large beach. That had been detected many times. And this was under a large wooden lifeguard chair that I found this, probably 10 inches deep. And you could see from the top, she was pretty toasty.
yeah, yeah. Now, how did you
And
clean
the
that up?
bottom, so I have one of the, are you guys familiar with the ugly boxes?
I've heard of that. We don't. I
It's
don't. Yeah.
ugly box. It's an electrolysis machine. I almost, I thought I'm gonna, how do you clean coins and so forth, and everything led me to, well, one of the best ways, preferred way,
Yeah.
is electrolysis. So I almost thought about building one, and then I found Frank, who is one of the admins on the Detect America group.
Yeah.
He builds these and sells these through a variety of dealerships.
Yeah.
Gold Digger, Chuck Smalley sells. If you Google ugly box
Yeah.
electrolysis,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, this was probably after an hour in there, and it went from the top to the bottom. Can you believe that?
Wow. Wow. I mean, it looks incredible. From what the top photos to the bottom photos, it's like day and night. the difference.
And this coin, we all call it the Mercury coin, Mercury dimes. That's actually it's called a Liberty dime.
Oh, okay.
And the name, people thought that was the goddess or god Mercury,
Yeah.
and that's not. The hat is
Okay.
similar, but it's actually called the Liberty dime. And one of the things people don't know about this is when they were producing these, the edging, the edging on the outside of the coin was higher on the front of the coin, the face of the coin, and on the back of the coin, it was not as high. So often when you find these, the front is in better condition than
Oh,
the obverse. The obverse is often,
okay.
very, very eroded, that kind of a thing. This one was in fairly bad shape. I've
Yeah.
found some much nicer ones, but it's just the history behind this coin is fascinating, and it's one of
Yeah.
my favorite coins to find.
Yeah. It's. I'd love to find one. I haven't found one. I only see them. So it's kind of cool to see that. Now, BC Treasure Trails was saying Gerbruder. Could that have been Gebruder?
I want to say no, I'm sorry.
Still no?
I'm
Okay.
so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't think that's it either.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll continue. We'll keep the people guessing. Okay. So now we got a little
I'm going to
display.
find out and put a post on my page, but
Okay.
um, this was just a day at the beach, and
Wow.
actually, there's two beach hunts in here. I found what was my first tungsten ring, and 925 Silver Cross. But these, by the way, are pretty cool little display cases. I actually have one here that they open up,
Oh, okay.
and
Oh, so it's
they
like a
they kind
two
of come.
piece. It's a two piece.
Yeah, it's two pieces, and there's all kind of cool ways to display your finds, but these are kind of neat too because they will lock in, whatever the item is. And
Okay.
I think I have a picture in here coming up, but
Yeah. Oh, you're making me
we'll
drool
talk
with
about this
that.
in a minute. But
Yeah.
these are kind of nice. But I have now migrated to a ring box. I have a ring case that was gifted to me by my friend Bob Frank, and but this is kind of a neat display of some of last year's summer ring finds.
Yeah, that's a cool way to
I,
display them. Yeah, that is. Yeah,
it is,
yeah. I
and
know
and and
my
I'm
wife got.
I'm still working. I'm not retired, but I'm humbled when I see folks. I mean, there are,
Yeah.
of course, as you know, friends, probably many on here that find like 100 rings in a season.
Oh,
But
yeah,
I've not hit that number yet.
yeah. I know. I have friends that's all they do. Every time they go out, they come home with 10 rings. Like I mean, come on now. you know. But yeah, that's cool. It's a cool way to display it. And then here we've got looks like
Oh,
compacts
so
almost.
yeah, so what's fascinating? There are actually two finds here. So I found one of these items in the spring, and apparently the other piece later in the fall, and they were some distance from one another.
Hmm.
And I had no idea what they were. We thought perhaps at first, what I found, if you look at the top right, I found the left side of that first. So I thought it might be a match case, um, something, and when I found the second piece, I thought it might, like you, Frank, be a compact, whatever, but these
Yeah.
were coin holders.
Wow.
And, back in the day, a dime and a nickel, would be, that's more than bus fare.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this would be something that in many cases the ladies would wear. It was like an emergency purse, or a gentleman might have it in his inside
Mm,
coat pocket.
yeah.
But it would generally just hold a few coins. There's a somewhat of a spring in there, where you can kind of slot
Yeah.
and press
Yeah.
down a few of these coins. But if you spend a little bit of time and look at, antique vintage coin holders, these are also quite popular, quite collectible.
Yeah, yeah, because that's the old days. It like now we have leather for our purses to put in there. In the old days they had these beautiful little silver containers to put their coins in. It's just that's cool. That I don't know if people can see it. The one on the bottom right hand corner, it has the dime and the nickel in its slot there. So it's pretty cool.
And another, part of the story about this that I love is the person who discovered what this is was my daughter.
Wow.
She's the one who did the research and found this and stuff. And again, what do I love about this hobby? That's one of the unexpected things that brings people together. You're solving a mystery, and so, yeah, my youngest daughter Abby was the one who solved the mystery on this one.
Yeah. No, that is a cool thing for sure.
Oh, these are some of the rings I found while traveling to Cancun this past winter.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I was using the Equinox and the one on the top left in the middle. Those two are gold, actually. The
Okay.
one in the middle is surprisingly small. You can't read it in this photo, but after I cleaned it up, it reads graduation, graduation, and there's some pictures of some small children's blocks on the right and the word kinder, I think, on the left. So
Mm-hmm.
this is a ring, we believe,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
some well-to-do parent gave their child after graduation from like kindergarten or nursery school.
Wow. Yeah.
I've not had the opportunity to have the stone verified. Is that a real diamond or not? I do not know. But
Yeah.
the other ring is a silver ring. There's a copper ring with an opal in it. And then,
Mm-hmm.
of course, that top left one, I did a gold dance on that one. That's 14. That was a 14 karat one,
Yeah.
bigger than the one that I wear. But
Okay. That's cool. Yeah. Yeah.
that was
Well,
my
all that
first
stuff just
first
goes
gold
into a
ring.
treasure chest anyway, Rob. So that doesn't matter. It could be worth $1 million. It's just it's in your treasure chest.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay. There's the grouping of them there. Yeah. Yeah. That is cool. Yeah.
I have two things I'll just tell you quickly. There's a meme out there. I've posted it on my page, and it's a young boy with his dad, and he's holding this brand new metal detector. And the boy says to his dad, says, "Dad, can you become a millionaire metal detecting?" And the dad says, "Yes, son, if you start as a billionaire."
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's good.
You
Yeah.
can quickly you can quickly spend enough money to relegate yourself.
Oh
There she
yeah.
is cleaned up.
Oh yeah. That is cool. Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, and there's a little
That's an
picture
oldie
of a
too. Yeah.
clown
That's a real oldie.
clown holding there. But
Yeah.
yeah, Mrs. History Digger did the cleanup work on that, but it's very small. I mean, fits on my
Yeah.
pinky.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I found a ring over in Maui, and it was like size 4. It would just barely go onto my little finger. And I'm going, who in the world would have and it was a diamond. It was diamond rings all around it. Now, who in the world would have that small of a finger? But obviously, people do. So,
Was the detecting good there, Frank?
oh, it's awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm itching to get back. I'm itching to get back. But yeah, so we'll see. It's not just that the weather is so nice too. That's what we like. So, and here it is. It's another one with your ORX.
First ring from like my regular 2021 hunt. In fact, I was at a local park that used to be part of that Paps Farms area I was telling you about,
Mm-hmm.
and 10 minutes into the hunt, real loud signal, so I thought this is either a, aluminum something or other, or it's a surface find, and somebody must have been walking their dog or whatever. Yeah, but it was 925 silver, kind of a cool, unique design. But I was like, what a way to start 2021.
Hmm. Yeah, I see. Brad just showed up. Green Mountains here. Yeah, so it's cool. Welcome, Brad. Yeah, that's
Oh, we were just talking about your Anna video, which is, I'm in complete awe. If you guys have not seen it, you need to give it a watch.
yeah.
Incredible.
Everybody's got to get on it for sure. I mean, give him a thumbs up there. So this is your dig stock event.
What a great event.
Oh,
My first event, Matt Jones, Pete Sorrell ran this, and such a great opportunity to meet other detectorists. Saw, met Aquachigger, a few other people there.
mm-hmm.
Found some great stuff. I think we found more stuff than a lot of people, less stuff than some. But for me, this was my best find. I was out that morning in the field behind me, and a gentleman had come up behind me. We were gabbing with one another. He said, "Hey, by the way, keep your eye on the ground because I just walked across and found an arrowhead. So thanks, I will." That afternoon, sure enough, I came upon this, and I happened to be
Oh,
filming it.
wow.
And it has been a lifelong dream of mine to, you could buy these, of course, but to
Yeah,
just find an arrowhead.
yeah,
And that trip, provided that for me, and it was
yeah.
in phenomenal shape.
Yeah, buying it is not the same as actually getting out there and finding that piece that somebody had lost many many years ago, and you look at it. I mean, it's and again is like I'm drooling seeing this, because it finding these arrowheads. And we live in an area that there's a lot of native along the shorelines here, and I've never seen any sort of arrowheads. I don't know if they have them out here like they have them on the East Coast, but it seems like there's some places you can go through, walk through the farmer's field, and they're picking up piece after piece of these arrowheads. So
Yeah, and you hear the same thing. I mean, again, they had a lot of rain. The soil there is fairly sandy. But this was probably embedded, I would say, a quarter of an inch. You could clearly see it.
yeah,
And
yeah,
if you get a moment, please watch the video because my buddy Bob was right there with me, and I mean, I just couldn't contain myself. It was just an incredible fun. And I will just say, um, I unfortunately have a reunion in October. I so wanted to go to the main Dig Stock event, but let me tell you, it
mm,
was so well run. Check it out if you've never been in anything like that. These guys
yeah,
really put on a
yeah, yeah. No, I
good
mean,
good
yeah,
event.
it's for us. The problem is we can't get across the border yet. So that's the big problem. But yeah,
I
BC Treasure
understand.
Trails were just saying there they have lots of arrowheads up north. Now I've been up north and I haven't found any, but I'm going to go have to meet up with Jason up there and do a little bit of hunting for some of these. But that's to me that would have been worth it just to go and find that, Rob, on that dig and not find anything
Oh yeah.
else. So
Oh, let me tell you. I think Kay has mentioned. I think she's found some arrowheads. I thought I'd seen her post too, but
yeah, yeah.
um,
So
folks, this is also a fun story behind this. If you're not familiar with this is called a clotter ring. Clotter ring. Its story goes back to the 1600s. A gentleman by the name of James Joyce was ready to ask his fiancée to marry her, and interestingly, he was captured. He was captured by a bunch of Barbary pirates and put into slavery, sent to Algiers, where he was working with a goldsmith. This goldsmith made him work with him, so he learned the trade
mhm.
and was captive there for many, many years. But all the time he missed his fiancee, and it was then he crafted a ring called the Clotter ring. Two hands, the crown meaning fidelity, and so forth. There's a heart in the middle. But he was freed by King William and went home to Ireland. This is after the goldsmith offered his daughter half of his wealth for him to stay.
Yeah.
He said, "Nope, I'm going home to Ireland." And sure enough, he gets to Galway. His fiancee was there, so the story goes, and they wed. He presented her with a Clotter ring. They wed. Well, my friend was at that scout camp with me and found this Clotter ring on the beach. And so at lunchtime, you often get together. Hey, how's your day going? What'd you find? He pulls this out, and we're all very happy for him. I was a little jelly, I have to
Yeah,
admit. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
I wish I, but we were super. And so at the end of the day, we're packing things up, and he's, oh my God, he lost the ring, dropped the ring somewhere, fell out of his pouch, whatever. And we went back a few times later to try to find it, couldn't find it. 3,000 acres on this
Oh man.
Boy Scout camp. Well, a couple weeks ago, I found it. I found it. And if you haven't seen that video, you'll be interested to see, did I keep it? Did I give it back to him? We'll leave it there.
There's a dilemma, isn't there? Like when somebody loses something and you find it, there's a saying, losers or finders keepers, losers weepers, but
That's
yeah,
the actual
it's
that's the name of my thumbnail.
yeah,
But
yeah,
it's you can probably imagine I did the right thing, but there's some fun that goes along with the story. But the
yeah, yeah.
story about the Clotter ring, it's quite popular. It's actually used now often as an Irish wedding ring.
Okay, okay.
Okay. And if you're engaged versus married, the heart points a different way, that kind of a thing. But boy, it's a
Oh,
beautiful ring,
okay,
cleaned up
yeah,
nicely. This is,
yeah.
of course, after it just came out of the ground.
And it's a green stone, so would make sense with being Irish, So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, very very cool. Yeah, that's a cool story. On a 3,000 acres, you can find someone else lost. Yeah.
Talk about a needle in a haystack.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Cool.
So this is that second favorite find I was telling you
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
The gentleman J.A. Bryan, the mayor, he was a former general in the Confederate Army, and this was what was embedded in the first sidewalk of the city of New Bern. So
Wow.
this will be displayed in their historical society, but
Wow.
there's fascinating stories. I mentioned a few of them associated with what I was able to pull a lot of
Yeah.
information
Yeah.
off of this, and it's it's probably about that big.
It looks like is it brass? Is it brass?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like it's got that patina to it. So I think that's why it's lasted so well over the years. So yeah, that is cool. Wow, what a find! What a find! Yeah, it's kind of nice to be you're able to return it to somebody that can really appreciate that the history from it. So
Yeah, I'll do this one quickly. I mean, like things like, who would ever go out detecting expecting to find a pendant of the Indian god Ganesh like we
yeah,
did? But also, I was on an old property here that was founded in the 1840s, and it was owned at one time by the editor of the local newspaper. And the only thing I can possibly think about, this is an Indian coin,
yeah.
a one, Pice, peace, but it's
Okay.
Pice.
Yeah,
1951, and he possibly traveled to India or somebody from India traveled to see him. But how did a coin from India find itself on a property that was settled in the 1840s? It might be
yeah,
later than then, we'll never know.
yeah,
But it was just one of those things in the how'd
yeah.
that get here column.
Yeah, that's one thing always amazes me. How did something that I find get here, and then how did it get to be 10 inches deep? Was the other story, So, yeah, that's a cool thing too. And then here we've got another ring.
Um, So this property, I reached out to this individual by mail with one of those letters that I had mentioned, and
Hmm.
beautiful old property. And I have a video about this one, just gorgeous. And it's a multifamily home. The landlord converted it into a multifamily home. I did not know this, but he corresponded with me. Said, "Yeah, I'd be happy to have you detect. I'm interested to see what you find." And I sent him photos of everything the first day. I said, "Would you like to keep anything?" He said, "No, no, no. Feel free to keep this." But this was one of the prized finds that I located. And again, it's a young child's ring. And so, what do you do with these things? I never sell anything. I
Yeah.
give things away. But I gave this one to my oldest granddaughter, Olivia, and something for her to hang on to down the road. But it was just one of those, oh my goodness, wow, find that on a beautiful old historic home.
Yeah, yeah. It is incredible, to turn these histories up. Someone's lost, many many years ago, and here you find it, and now you're able to share it to pass it on to somebody else, to cherish. It's a cool item.
Nothing exciting about these other than I found these in a local river,
Wow.
about 3.5 feet underwater, and were some of the older coins I found. And but the fact that I found this, and I don't know if I sent this to you, Frank, but a Barber quarter, I think like a
Um,
1907
yeah,
silver Barber quarter, sitting there, 3.5 feet. Of course, it's on top of rocks, so it's not going to sink. But same thing with these, and I found quite a few Indian heads now, but these were kind of special because of I just like the fact that I found them in the water.
yeah, yeah. No, that's cool. 1897 and 1906. It's just cool. The only Indian head I have is one that I won in a draw from. I think where was it? Oh, I think that it might have been from Jersey History Hunters. But yeah, I'd love to find one of these. We do find the U.S. coins up here, but nothing that old as of yet. So
It was my first old coin. I found my first one of these with the simplex, and
yeah,
I was just ecstatic. So this is that Barber,
yeah,
1906, and again, um, you can kind of see in that top right photo, it was actually in the water on edge.
Yeah.
And so you can kind of see where it was sitting in there perhaps, but I popped it into the Ugly Box electrolysis machine and it did its magic right here.
It's incredible
And
how it turned out.
and listen, I mean, there might be some coin collectors out there. I mean, I'm not keeping these with regard to their numismatic
Yeah,
value
yeah,
and so on. And these are, come on, these are dug out of the ground. This is
yeah,
like, bad condition to begin with. So I don't mind in this case cleaning them up. But yeah, and I think they retail for, I mean, less, I mean, I'm going to say like $50, $60, something like
yeah,
that. They're not
yeah.
terribly expensive.
Yeah, you can see it on that top right corner one. The half of it is kind of the darker, So
Yeah.
yeah, so
No,
it's
and I was referring to the Ugly Box. I mean, if you guys want to experiment with those, but I have thrown a few things in there, and it's incredible the job it
yeah,
does. But there's
yeah,
plenty of videos you can kind of view them. I have a couple
yeah,
up there how to use the Ugly Box,
yeah,
but this was my first bar recorder as well.
yeah. And there was no rubbing on that, was there, Rob? There's nothing that you kind of rubbed or polished. It was just the box itself.
Correct. I mean, I think, I ran it underwater. I may have hit it very lightly at the very end with a toothbrush, or I got some debris off it before I ever started. But yeah, we're not polishing it, nothing like that.
Oh, okay, yeah, wow, yeah, 'cause it's incredible how it turned out. I think we got a couple more left here, and lots of looks like silver
Oh,
here. Yeah,
yeah, I'll just say this, put this, I tried so hard to find the owner of this ring. There's a date in here. I found this at a local park. I called the park and rec 5 times, never had a return phone call. I was hoping there would be a lost and found type of a call, but all of these were found just the same day. And I just think it's sometimes like yesterday. Who would have thought I'm going to go out in my backyard and I find a Civil War button?
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I find it's almost like the metal detecting gods are kind of saying, chill,
yeah, yeah.
we'll bring it to you. Don't worry about it.
Uh,
And sure enough, I went out to this beach, had hit it a couple times prior in that summer, and found this stuff all in the same day.
yeah, amazing stuff. Absolutely.
I believe that's there's a name. It's an infinity friendship ring, but at any rate, I'm still going to try one more time this year, but they may have had a staff reduction or something due to COVID. I don't know, but I'm going to try one last time to find the
It
owner
looks
of
like
this.
there's diamonds and rubies, kind of around that. So, yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, very cool. And I think that was the last one, Rob. Oh dear, that was the rest.
It was hard to decide what to send, Frank. I have no idea.
Oh man, it was so cool to see all those, and yeah, I'm just and hearing the stories. That everybody in the chat's very quiet. I can see that we've got 60 people out there with eyes on us, but it's all very quiet. Listen to your story. So very cool. And I know you and I were talking, and you were saying that you're going to give a silver dollar away as a giveaway on our channel here today. And I've been putting names into the wheel of fortune here for everybody that's been in the chat. So if you're out watching and you're haven't said anything to us yet, please put something into the chat so we can put your name in there. But that is such a cool giveaway.
Yeah, hopefully this will be in addition to somebody's collection that doesn't have this.
Man, that's just that
sorry
is,
here, 1887.
Yeah.
She's in pretty good shape. I did not dig this. This has come out of my my personal collection, and Frank and I just as a thank you all for supporting the whole hobby, I'm going to mail this along with some stickers, and I actually have this in the form of a magnet. So we'll get this to the winner. If they email me their address, thehistorydigger@gmail.com, they can email me the address. Whether you're in Canada or not, we'll get it mailed to you.
Yeah, no, that's a cool giveaway, and it's just I love that. I love the sound of silver when it hits the That does.
Oh, so
Okay,
true.
so let's go on to the wheel here, Rob, and so I've put everybody that I've seen. I've been kind of adding them to the wheel here. So I'm pretty sure I have everybody that has been in the chat. If you've said hello or made a comment, you've gone into the chat, and so you're eligible to win. If you win, if you can get a hold of me or get a hold of Rob, and we'll get the information off to you or get the silver dollar to you. And anyway, so let's, without further ado, I think I've got everybody in here. I'm going to just sort this and shuffle it a couple of times and make sure that we mix everybody up. And let's hit this, and good luck to everybody. And let's go.
This is impressive, Frank. I'm impressed with this.
Ah! Oh, my friend just missed. Mama's gone detecting now. I don't think she's here. I haven't seen her.
She
so
was here, wasn't she?
I'm just gonna go through here. I didn't see her. Usually Brenda comes through. No.
I will leave that up to you, Frank.
Yeah, no, it's she's not here today, and I know she's been a great supporter, and for us. But yeah, she's not. I don't think she's here. But let me just. Yeah.
Hey, Frank. Let's. I'm going to make this really easy.
Sure.
We're going to do 2 silver dollars. Okay.
Oh, okay.
We'll give one to
Okay.
Mama's Gone Detecting, and let's
All right.
spin it again.
Okay, we'll do that. Let me just do that again, and yeah. So, so close, yeah. Oh, BC Treasure Trails. There we go. Jason the man, and Jason's another great supporter of all the detecting channels, and yeah. So congratulations, Jason. It you know, to for that win on that. Wow, incredible. Yeah. So let's just go back here. So thanks so much for being on the show, Rob. It just I mean, you know, you're so fascinating with your stories and the storytelling, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm sure everybody out in the chat has the same feeling, you know, towards it, and look forward to seeing some more of your videos for sure. And thank you very much for the giveaways. We'll get people to either get a hold of me or get a hold of you, and then we can get it forwarded to them, and just go from there. But yeah, that's all we have for today. Appreciate it. Look forward to maybe swinging that detector with you sometime. You know,
that would be great.
Yeah.
And thanks for doing this, Frank. Thanks for everything you do, and I recognize so many of the names out there, and those I don't, I'm looking forward to getting to know you. But yeah, just happy digging. Everybody stay safe, and Frank, thanks for the opportunity to come on and talk about metal detecting.
Yeah, no, we've got some great supporters, you know, and the Ambient Girl Digs, she's here. Frederick Romano,
Nancy.
BC Treasure Trails, and Madison, Maine, you know, was in here. Yeah, so, and Mama's Gone Detecting, usually she's here, you know, so I kind of put her in there. It's the first time that she's kind of missed a live feed, so, but yeah, anyway, I'm going to let you go. And again, Rob, thank you very much for coming on the show, and we'll see you again, I'm sure. And everybody, you know, make sure you check out his channel, and give him that thumbs up, and hit that bell so you know when he's going to load up another video for you to watch. And if you have any questions about how to get permission, watch Rob's video. He's got one set up there for that, and yeah, fantastic. Anyway,
okay,
Rob,
folks,
thank you very much. Have a good one. And we're going to let you go, and we're going to say goodbye and good night.